understand you work for the government.
So it's a little classified, so.
I never knew we had an intelligence unit here in Charlotte.
Oh, are you law enforcement?
Yes, I am.
Wow, that's amazing.
How we doing? We're talking about kids.
Yeah,
y'all got to like hang out at Toys R Us for like months. That's like the coolest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
It is. It can get lonely. I'm not even kidding. Even with a like a full camera like crew and directors and producers and everything, when I didn't have actors with me, I'm not even kidding. It does like, get very lonely when you're the only one in front of camera. And then all of a sudden they would show up and I'd be like, oh, hi, hi.
Speak to me,
hi,
hold
you play
me.
with people. Like, this is so much fun. Like,
I feel like you and like Tom Hanks and Castaway like have a lot to talk about.
Oh man, it's really weird because there's so many people around, but it's all just you, and it's a strange, weird head flip.
So I was talking with Derek, and he was saying that the first scene with y'all, he didn't want you guys to meet until you were on set and you were about to shoot a scene. What was the scene, and can you kind of walk me through how that worked with y'all meeting each other for the first time?
It was at that Red Lobster scene. So yeah, he kept us apart. Everyone was on board. They'd be like, Kirsten's pulling up. Like it was like a...
I was in like a hair test, and then they were like, wait.
Don't
wait,
go
keep her in the car,
out.
keep her in the car.
Yeah.
And like,
It was a little... I was like, oh, come on. But it did build up an anticipation that like we really looked at each other probably more like intensely than we would have if we had hung out before, maybe.
So who was more nervous, like acting with the other person for the first time?
That's without a question. Yeah, that's not even it's not even a competition. It's definitely me.
You got to speak with the real Jeffrey Manchester from prison on numerous occasions. What was the most sort of invaluable like piece of information or vibe that you got from him that helped inform your performance?
It was his vibe, actually. Like, I had all this list of things. I would be like, did this really happen? Or how'd you do that? And what'd you wear? What were your shoes? And then kind of when I started talking to him, all that went away. And we just got to know each other. He could ask me anything. I opened up because I didn't want it to be a one-way conversation, just a grilling of like his life or this section of his life. I just like got to know this guy. And he's so charismatic and warm, and he takes care of you. I just genuinely liked him. And he's just like one of the more optimistic people that I think I've ever met in my life, and I guess he doesn't have any other options really. He's got nothing but time to think about what he did and what he wants to do when he gets out.
Yeah, Kirsten, it's amazing. Like even echoing Channing's words right there. It's like so many people in his real life, even people who he robbed, were like, yeah, he was a nice guy. We kind of dug him. What do you think about that character was so it made Lee smitten a little bit with the whole prospect of maybe dating him? You didn't know a lot of this stuff, but what was it about his personality for you?
I don't know if it was personality first. I don't know. It was like a sparkle in the eyes.
That's
you can't
fair.
explain love,
There's a connection.
Yeah, it was a connection. She's a single mom and, very devoted to her children and her church, and this came out of the blue for her.
And the movie takes place in 2004. So what was the coolest, like, costuming piece or, like, just like a set design where you're like, oh, my God, we used to do that?
I mean, the Toys R Us was
the Toys R Us was crazy. I mean, it was literal period perfect. I don't really know. I mean, we're both 80s kids, 80s, 90s kids, and, like, Toys R Us was Valhalla. Like, it was just like...
Remember the smell? It had a smell, and it just smelled like potential. Yeah. Even if you only had like $2, you walk in and you could buy anything.
Yeah.
And it seemed to go on and on and on. Like, you could just, like, you I don't know. As a kid, it felt like it was like 15 football fields, like, wide.
Yeah.
You remember the contest that they used to have on the back of cereal boxes where you could run through Toys R Us and you could get as much stuff?
Yeah, the shop-a-thon or whatever it would be.
Yeah,
like,
so
they give you a time.
What are your individual strategies? Like, you go to Toys R Us, what section did you head to first as a kid?
I was a Barbie gal. Yeah.
I'd be a BMX guy. I would go right to the back bike section, and then I'd go to the X-Men section, like, for sure.
You guys are making all the right choices here. I wanted to talk about the McDonald's robbery scene. I mean, multiple scenes, and this guy robbed 40 McDonald's or something like that. What were filming those scenes like? Was it intense? I mean, it's a very serious thing that's going on, but there's also a lot of physical comedy that you're asked to do and do very well.
Yeah, I mean, we have like very, very straight accounts, and Jeff told me how he would do it, and like even the people that he ended up putting in refrigerators, like he would always be like, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm the bad guy, you guys are the good guys, I promise, no one's gonna get hurt." Like he would just profusely apologize that he's doing this to them in a way, and like assure them that everything's gonna be fine. Like he never hurt anybody physically. You know, I know he scared them probably half to death, and he knows that now. But he didn't really see it that way, and at the time, I think, you know, you tell yourself stories that you need to tell yourself to kind of do things that you justify.
And like, you know, going back to the way Derek didn't want y'all to meet in Tillhant, he would like move stuff around.
Oh, Derek messed with me every single scene, every single take. I learned probably in the first 3 days, I was like, okay, I'm not going to let him know anything that I'm about to do because he's just going to go and mess it up. Like
coffee pots and things wouldn't work.
Like when I would have to like go and there's a scene that's cut out of the movie that I have to go and like make cops coffee and like bring it to them at, you know, because in reality he did do that. He actually served cops one time. And we didn't put it in the movie, which is psychotic, and like and so I have to go and like I planned. I knew where everything was, knew where the coffee machine was, and when I came in to do the scene, everything was in different places. Mm-hmm. And then the coffee cups were like mashed together, so I couldn't get them apart. Like the straws were way over there, the cups were over here. They had the wrong size lids. It was just chaos. He likes creating chaos.
Do y'all feel like these surprises help a performance?
I mean, it definitely gives a freshness to your take. If something's off and you go with it, like, it makes it feel a little extra alive, I think.
Yeah, for sure. The reality of things are, you know, you don't have to play it. You know, you can just be in it and sort of take it as it comes.
And physicality makes you get out of your head more, you know?
Yeah.
I need you to take the ink bomb out. If I do that, it'll blow up. Now, if you do it quick. Oops.
Derek, I got to ask you about all of these McDonald's that you got to shoot the robbery scenes with Channing Tatum at. What was the coolest part about shooting a robbery at a McDonald's?
Well, the robberies are inherently pretty serious. I think the thing that was interesting in this story to me was there was this hardened criminal who was robbing these places like McDonald's and putting people in a freezer. And if that's all he did, I probably wouldn't have made the movie about him. But he had this weird heart where he was like making sure they had their jackets before he went in the freezer. And there was this contradiction in this character I was interested in. But when you're trying to shoot a McDonald's that's a period piece now, McDonald's have all changed over the years. McDonald's used to have like a very defined roof. It was different than a Burger King roof. It was different than a Kentucky Fried Chicken roof. Nowadays, all the fast food restaurants kind of look the same. They've kind of assimilated. So it was hard to find a period-accurate McDonald's. We actually found a period-accurate Burger King and had to rebuild the roof to look like a McDonald's. But then I filled the McDonald's with people that are employees at a current McDonald's so they would know what they were doing, and I made sure to have some people on set who were actually victims of Jeff's crimes so they could kind of consult for us and make sure we were doing things the right way. And sure enough, those people talked about Jeff as if he was like such a polite person. You know, the people would say, yeah, he was so kind, he was so nice. She said, I almost felt sorry for him as he was pointing a gun at her and robbing her.
Yeah, he had this weird, like, kind of Ferris Bueller quality where you just want to like him regardless of what he might be doing, even to you. When you were talking with the real Jeffrey Manchester, because you had like over 100 phone calls with the guy, and he's in prison, what is the thing about Channing's performance that you're like, that right there, that nailed it, that's the real guy right there?
Well, I'd say it comes from, Jeff pointed this out to me the other day. He said, he saw this movie poster and he said, where'd you get that idea? Where'd you get the idea of like having Channing Tatum in his underwear at a pool floaty with a teddy bear around his neck? And I was like, well, I built a toy store and Channing just wheeled around the corner one day and he looked like that. And I filmed it. And Jeff said, well, that makes me very happy because if you lock yourself in a toy store for 6 months, it has a way to bring out your inner child, and I'm so happy Channing got a chance to bring out his. So I think Channing embodied that spirit of Jeff. I think Channing himself does have a very active inner child inside him. Channing to me is a boy in a man's body. He reminds me a little bit of Charlie Chaplin, the Tramp, this kind of boy's heart in a man's body. And
the physical comedy that Channing's pulling off in this movie.
Yes, you could say it was Chaplin-esque or like a little like Jerry Lewis maybe too.
So I was reading that you had thought about casting Channing for Blue Valentine and then Kirsten for The Light Between Oceans. Didn't work out for those. Why is this the perfect movie for both of them to kind of come together and display this incredible chemistry?
You know, this was like a dream come true to work with two actors that I've loved for so long, that as a moviegoer, as an audience member, I've just been a fan of. You know, Channing, like I have two sons, and we used to always have Friday movie nights. And when they turned teenagers, it got harder and harder to pick the movie that everyone in my family would want to watch something. But anytime there was a Channing Tatum movie, everyone in my family, my wife, each of my boys, and myself, we all were game to watch a Channing Tatum movie. I think he has just this authenticity and this truthfulness, and he can wear so many hats. He can be a great dramatic lead, he can be a great romantic lead, an action star, and an incredible comedian. Not to mention, he's a brave artist that does autobiographical fiction too. And then Kirsten, you know, I grew up watching her, and it's so rare to find someone who was a child actor who's like had such a major career, who's so salt of the earth and so regular and so down to earth and so just human. And so I know Channing and Kirsten are just both great human beings, as well as being like, you know, huge movie stars and just like phenomenal actors. So to me, it was just the culmination of a lifelong dream.
And it seems like they were both up for the challenges that you threw at them, which is they didn't meet until they were on set because they kind of wanted to keep the authenticity of that meet cute. And then also with the McDonald's robberies and things like that, you would actually change the room around so that Channing would be befuddled and kind of confused as a befuddled robber might.
I don't want actors to ever get too comfortable. I think one thing that can happen with acting is like you get a script and you memorize your lines and you just make all your choices before you get to set. And what I always want to make sure for actors is that they're present in a moment and they're able to make choices in the present moment and react to the life as it happens. So I kept Channing and Kirsten apart. They couldn't meet each other, and I remember it only made Channing especially more nervous to meet Kirsten. And right before I sent him in the first day, the first take at that Red Lobster scene, he said to me, "I hope she likes me." And I thought to myself, that's Channing and that's also Jeff.
It's both of them, yeah.
Yes.
You're at a Toys R Us and you're living every kid's dream of being in a Toys R Us for so long. If I put you as a kid in a Toys R Us and I say you can take any one toy, you can steal any one toy here, nobody's going to get mad at you, what's Derek leaving with?
It'd probably be a remote control car. That feels like a little bit of wish fulfillment, is to be able to race that. Especially if I was living in the Toys R Us, that would be definitely what I would want.
Oh yeah, you got a great racetrack right there.
Yeah, great racetrack.
Yeah.
You could just sit down and race the whole store with it. Yeah.
What's the best part of recreating a Toys R Us, real quick?
Best part of recreating a Toys R Us, you know, some people when they have a midlife crisis, they buy a Ferrari, but some people build a toy store. I think that's what I did.
You probably save some money in the long run. Then.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.